Hello everybody, and welcome to Home Ec Lab with me, Mrs. Plumb. Today we're going to be baking a dessert that is simple and summery and perfect for any 4th of July celebration or barbecue you might be invited to. This recipe is a favorite in my kitchen because it is easy to make and really delicious and impressive. So let's get started by looking at our ingredients and making sure we have all the tools we're going to need to do our baking today. For this recipe, we're going to need 1 cup of sugar. So let's go ahead and get that ready. We're going to need 1 cup of self-rising flour. I love self-rising flour. It already has the leavening in it, so it cuts down on measuring of other ingredients. Let's level off, get a nice accurate measurement. All right, and then 1 cup of whole milk, which I've already measured out here. 1 stick of butter. So you might have noticed we got a lot of ones going on. 1 cup, 1 cup, 1 cup. And then it's 1 stick of butter, which is actually ½ a cup. Some recipes, some versions of this recipe call for salted, some unsalted. It's up to you which you use. I personally prefer to use salted butter in sweet desserts because it kind of balances out the sweetness. So I went ahead and I melted that butter, but save your wrapper because that wrapper is going to come in handy in just a minute. All right, and then we need a ½ teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to measure that when we put it in. And then 2 cups of berries. Now, a little bit about the berries. So you can use a variety of fruit, but we're going to be using, because we want to kind of focus on the red, white, and blue aspect, we're going to be using strawberries and blueberries. So, when you get your berries home, be sure to wash them. In a little sieve like this, you can dump them in there, wash them. And I've already got just about a cup of strawberries sliced up here. But I want to show you a little trick for hulling your strawberries, removing this part and the kind of spongy part that's inside. So you just get a straw, disposable straw. I kind of cut the end slanted and then push it up and through, and voila, look at that. You've just hulled the strawberry. Some people who are beginning bakers or cooks might be a little intimidated by cutting something. Strawberries are a very user-friendly fruit. All right, they're super soft. You could even use like a butter knife to cut them. I'm using a little rounded tip kind of steak knife. I would just slice this in half and then pop that in. And there is our 1 cup of strawberries. So the blueberries, again, don't forget to wash those berries. And I've got a cup measured out here. With blueberries, really very little processing. All you need to do is make sure that you don't have any moldy ones or ones with stems attached. And just fill that on up there after you wash them. All right, so I'm going to pop that in that bowl. All right, so next, let me move these back out of the way. Next, it says sugar for sprinkling, and some recipes have specific amounts of sugar. I kind of like to just use my spoon and sprinkle until it looks like there's a good coating on top of the berries. I want that berry flavor to really shine. So, we've got all of our ingredients. We are going to need a bowl for mixing, so I've got my favorite mixing bowl here and a couple things for stirring. And then you can see we're going to need a buttered casserole dish for baking. So the recipe says I've found various sizes, 8.5 or 9 by 9 square. is what most recipes call for. But I want to make mine in one of these white casserole dishes. So I'm going to look on the bottom here, and it tells me that this container holds 2 quarts. So I want to use one of mine. They're both kind of, that one's, either one would work, because on the bottom here, this size tells me this is 1.8 liters, which is just about 2 quarts. So I'm going to go for this one, because I want it to be a little deeper rather than more shallow. So don't be concerned if you don't have an 8x8 or a 9x9. You just want to have something that's going to hold that volume and be about the right depth. One final little bit of prep before we actually start mixing, and that is to preheat your oven. So I'm going to preheat my oven to 350, and it should be hot and ready to roll when we're ready to put our cobbler in. Cobbler, by the way, is a word that was used by the early settlers, American settlers, who they wanted a dessert, and they just used whatever fruits were in season, local, and they would cook them up a little bit, put them in a pan, and put dollops of biscuit dough on the top. And when that baked, it looked kind of like a cobblestone walkway, and thus we have the term cobbler. And cobblers have been around in the United States for a very, very long time. They were made, the first recipe was in the 1800s, written in a cookbook. So let's get started. The first step says to combine the sugar and self-rising flour in a mixing bowl. So 1 cup of sugar, in you go. 1 cup of flour. And we'll just stir those. A lot of recipes that are baked goods have 2 separate bowls, one for the wet and one for the dry, and then they put them together. But for this one, we're just doing everything all in one. And then mix in 1 cup of whole milk. So there you go, 1 cup. Pour that right in. And the 1 stick of melted butter. And we'll put the vanilla in as well. Oh, not all of the recipes, versions of this cobbler have vanilla, but I love vanilla. I think it's going to make that cakey part have a delicious flavor to it. There's a half teaspoon. Okay. So it's going to be kind of about the consistency of pancake batter, cake batter. Ooh, it smells so good. Already, the butter and the vanilla. And if you wanted, you could add even a little cinnamon or fall spices if you're making one with peaches. That would be delicious. Okay, so now we're going to need to prepare our casserole dish. Now remember that paper I told you to save? Here we go. This is how we're going to butter up our casserole dish. If you don't happen to have your butter wrapper, you can, of course, use a little cooking spray, or you could use a little butter on a paper towel. All right. prepared. And now pour into the buttered dish. All right, I'm going to use my scraper so I can get every last bit. Oh man, beautiful. Okay, now come the berries. Top with 2 cups of berries. So I think I'm gonna, I'll do the strawberries first because they're a little bit bigger. I could do some kind of design, but I think I'm just gonna apply them randomly. Try to, oh, it's gonna look like a lot of berries, but never fear. When it's baking, the batter will puff up and will engulf the berries, and it will be beautiful. All right. Oop, one escaped. Okay. Oh, as I said, here in a minute, I'm going to sprinkle on some sugar. And really, that is also kind of a matter of personal taste. Many recipes had, you know, half of a cup or something, which seems like an awful lot to me. There's already a cup of sugar in here. I'm going to do maybe one more. Ooh. Okay, so the directions say for 50 to 55 minutes. So you always want to go with the lower amount of time. So when I put this in, I'm going to set the timer for 50 minutes, and then I'll check it. And if it is done all the way through, then I'll take it out if it's golden brown and beautiful. If not, we'll give it a few more minutes. It does depend on kind of the depth of your container as well. So let's make sure our oven is preheated. Alrighty, and in we go. Okay. Oh, timer. I like to use the timer on my watch. We'll go 50 minutes. And there we go. I'll see you back when the cobbler is baked. We'll see how it turns out. Hello, welcome back to Home Ec Lab with Mrs. Plum. Our beautiful cobbler came out of the oven about 10 minutes ago. The crust is deliciously golden brown. Listen to that. And the berries are all bubbly. It smells like butter and vanilla in here. So I brought it out and let it sit for about 10 minutes to just finish its cooking and the berries to cool off a little bit so you don't burn your mouth. And I'm ready to dig in and see what it looks like here. So here we go. Oh, yum. Oh, that's beautiful, all cakey. You can see that steam coming up. I like these little crispy edges too. All right. Now, traditionally, I think cobbler is accompanied by something like ice cream or whipped cream. So today, I'm going to put on some whipped cream. It's also going to give us the white color for our red, white, and blue. You can make your own whipped cream by just buying whipping cream, but today I'm just using the kind that comes already whipped in the can. And then, if you want to add a little extra for the festivities, you can put a little flag toothpick in. Oh, I know this is going to start melting pretty fast because it's hot. Ooh. Ooh, there you go. Look at that. Beautiful. Oh, let's give a taste. Delicious, not too overly sweet. A lot of the natural berryness in there and butter. Whether you make this for yourself at home or you take it to a gathering, I'm sure you and everybody is going to really love it. So there you have it, our berry cobbler. I wish you a safe and joyful 4th of July, and until next time.